Hello and welcome to this match preview between West Ham and Southampton, a massive game coming up this weekend. It's been a little bit of a while since we've had a match preview and a match obviously from Southampton, so it's exciting but also quite scary as this is a huge match and the potential chances of Southampton staying up. Now here I have the current standings in the Premier League. We obviously sit last place. West Ham currently sit 18th. Now the massive factor here is Southampton 28 games, West Ham 26. West Ham have 2 games in hand against us and we're 1 point behind. So really, in reality, this game against West Ham is arguably the biggest of the season. A fellow team struggling in relegation, it's a 6-pointer game. If we were to win this, maybe we'd get out of relegation. This obviously wouldn't be 100% guaranteed depending on other results. But if West Ham were to win this, we would be 4 points behind them with only 9 games remaining. And if we do look at the current fixtures coming up, it's not looking good, bruv. We do have, I believe, the hardest run out of the sort of the teams in and around relegation. So yeah, this is going to be difficult. So obviously with our upcoming fixtures, we really have 3 we want to aim for that have to be wins. Obviously we play West Ham, which is a must-win game. City at home, it's sort of a hope we get points. You know, if we lose, we lose. It's not really surprising. No one would be surprised. But hopefully we get something that even a draw would be massive. At home to Palace, a Palace side who Roy Hodgson's now taken over. He's a bloody dinosaur, 75 or whatever. How old is he? I'm not actually sure, to be honest. He's an old bugger. But he's obviously got a wealth of experience. But a team that struggled this year, massively struggled this year in particular, 2023. I don't believe they've won a game. And they've barely scored any goals, so this might be the best team to beat. But then, that's in 3 games. By then, we could be 6 or 7 points if we don't get points against West Ham and obviously maybe against City. Then we travel to Arsenal. Jesus, they're scoring 4 every week, so that's not exactly looking like we're going to get a result there just based off form. Home against Bournemouth, massive game, enormous game. We have to win that. Away to Newcastle, challenging for top 4. They're going to be a difficult team. And then away to Nottingham Forest, who at this point is starting to drift back down into the relegation battle. So that may be another huge game. Home against Fulham. Fulham high flying this year. That's going to be difficult. Brighton away. I mean, we saw what they did at home. They spanked us. And then obviously at home to Liverpool. So really out of the last 10 remaining Premier League games, there is 4 games that are absolutely enormous. And that is West Ham, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest. 2 home, 2 away, massive games. Those are really going to define us. If we were to win all those games, we stay up. That's my actual belief. But will we win those games? Who knows? Now, let's have a look at our recent form. We've been pretty good. Salaz has had 6 games in charge and we've lost 2. That's actually pretty good, and 1-2 as well. That's better than Jones or anyone like that. So we've done pretty well in that regard. We've got points away United, a winning away at Chelsea. The only real flaring loss that really hit home for us, I think, Southampton fans, was the Leeds result. You know, a massive 6-pointer. And that's sort of why I'm a little bit concerned about this game coming up. There's games where we're not expected to get points, like against Chelsea, against Manchester United, and we do get points. And we're like, whoa, this is amazing. You know, picking up those sort of points is massive because you're not expecting to get points. And then we play against Leeds and Brentford, and obviously Brentford are a good side. I'm not saying they're not. But at home against Brentford, those are the sort of games that like we're desperate to win. They're not a United, they're not a Tottenham, they're not a Chelsea. Those are the games we need to win. And then we proceed to play awful. And it was the same against Leeds. We played shocking. And that's why I'm a little bit concerned about this West Ham game, because it seems to be a common theme in Southampton where the games we don't expect to get points or we don't expect to win, we perform much better and we play brilliant and we get a point or get 3 points. Or against Tottenham, we came back from 3-1 down to get a point. But then against teams like West Ham, who are around us, against Leeds, we're awful. We're not even in the game. We're a mess. We're misjointed. We're bloody all over the place. And that's why it's a little bit concerning. But this is the thing. It's a huge game. Like, these games define the season. We have to win. And these are the moments where, you know, Salaz, he's done well since coming in. But these are the games that matter the most against our teams around us. Because we can beat Chelsea, we can draw with United, we can draw with Tottenham. But if the other teams are also gaining points, we have to take points off them. And that is what we've lacked this season. We really have struggled with beating teams around us. And normally we don't have a problem with that. You know, I remember under Ralph, you know, we'd play against a Norwich team that's close to us and would win at home. We'll play Watford at home, would win. But now it feels like whenever we play those sort of teams, we just don't turn up. Now, when it comes to West Ham form, West Ham have the exact same form as us. The last 5 games have got the same amount of points, the same amount of wins, and the same amount of losses. So we're really coming into this game pretty similar in form, but the main flaring difference is the quality of players. Because let's be completely honest, West Ham should not be here. Same with Leicester, same with Everton. The players they have are far superior than a relegation battle. West Ham are playing on bloody, I think, the conference, right? They've got some brilliant players, and majority of those players would easily start for us. So that's my concern, is that once they get a sort of a click, a spark, I feel like they're going to fly. And that's why we have to win this game to sort of keep them in and around us, because the more teams that are in and around us in the relegation battle, the more chance we have, right? Because there's a 4-point gap between us and 12th. That's a ton of teams that we could easily leapfrog if we just get a couple wins, put them into relegation, put them under pressure. And that's why this game is absolutely huge. Now we're going to be talking about my preferred lineup for this West Ham game. Now, obviously, pretty simple. Bazunu in goal. I mean, that's pretty logical. I mean, he's had his up and downs. He's still young. He's still developing. But we all saw Alex McCarthy for 3-4 years. You know, he's not going to save shit. And I don't even know if he's fit, to be completely honest. He's an awful keeper. And I'd prefer to have a youngster sort of, yes, he may make the slightest issue here and there. But he's genuinely improving, especially under Sales. He has improved a lot. And people really get on his back for no reason. Obviously, he's conceded goals, which you sort of say. That every keeper has that. But I feel like a lot of the goals he does concede, not really his fault, considering the defence we have in front of him. I mean, most of the goals I've seen that people bring up and complain about, it's not typically his fault. It's more the fault of what's in front of him, with just lax defending and just being bloody lazy and like unresponsive to what's happening around. So I don't particularly blame Bazunu that much. I think he's had an okay season, but definitely the games against, you know, Chelsea and whatnot really show that he can do it, that he is good enough to be in the Prem. So he's obviously got to start. Now, obviously, right back, we all know who that is, Cole Walker-Peters. There's not really any competition for him, and he's one of our best players, so he has to play. Perot left back. Now, you know, people sometimes put, Maitland-Niles right back, or if Tino is fit, I guess would be right back as well. And then put Walker-Peters left back. I'm not a fan of Walker-Peters at left back. I always naturally prefer a naturally left-footed player on the left, naturally right-footed player on the right. That's just honestly how I feel about it. That's just, I guess, my perspective. Now, with the 2 centre-backs, I do believe Bednarek played for Poland, so I'm guessing he would be fit. Bela Kotchap, I actually don't know. I haven't heard anything about him. Obviously, he did go to the hospital for a shoulder injury. I have no idea whether he'll be fit, so I'm just going to assume he's not fit, because he did pull out of Germany, so I'm guessing he may not be 100%. So I'm just going to assume Bela Kotchap's not fit. If he is, obviously he starts, right? But we're going to have Bednarek. I hate the guy. I'm not a fan of him, but he has been in better form. If Bela Kotchap was 100% fit, I would prefer to play him with Salisu, because I feel like those two were monsters at the start of the season before it all sort of fell apart. So we're just going to have to go with Bednarek and Salisu as the 2 centre-backs for this game. Now, I would be interested in doing a 4-4-2 or 4-2-2 or something like that, with sort of Big Paul and Adams. I'd kind of like to see them play up front together. I feel like it may work with like an Adams centre forward playing in and around Big Paul with his hold-up play, but I don't think we can risk it. I don't think we can risk that sort of style of play when we haven't exactly refined it. So we're just going to go with a 4-2-3-1 like we've been playing the last few weeks. Obviously against Tottenham we played a 4-2-2 or 4-4-2 depending on like what we're doing. But I'm going to go with 4-2-3-1 because I do feel like we can't particularly play with 2 in the middle. We did do it under Ralph quite a lot, but I feel as if this season we just get overrun a lot more than usual. Obviously Ward-Prowse and Lavia are brilliant players, right? They could easily play in a 2, but I just feel like the supporting cast around them just haven't been good enough. And I feel like when we do play a 3 with Alcaraz as sort of the 10, Lavia and Ward-Prowse sitting, it does work a lot better. It's a lot more balanced defensively and offensively. So I feel like it's just easier for us to play a 3 in midfield with Alcaraz sort of being the free roaming creative player. And then obviously Lavia and Ward-Prowse trying to dictate and control the game, because let's be honest, when Lavia doesn't play, we definitely struggle to sort of transition from defence to attack, because he does bring the ball out brilliantly from the defensive line. And obviously Ward-Prowse, box to box, he's fucking everywhere, right? He is everywhere. So that will be my sort of trio in midfield. On the right wing has to be Walcott. I've slagged him off countless times. Not as much as Elanusi, but I've slagged him off countless times over this season and last season. I don't know why we signed him in the first place, but to be fair, to his credit, the last 3-4 games, he's actually been one of the shining lights, I'd say, in very poor attack. He's been good. Well, he got goal assist against Tottenham. He played well against United. Obviously, he missed a couple of chances, but he's been genuinely good. And I think we have to start him. Really, we can't not start him. We don't have good attackers. Believe it or not, we don't have good attackers. Stuart Armstrong, I don't know, he's been up and down this season. He's barely played. Elanusi's Elanusi. Edozie doesn't exist apparently. He's just, I don't know, in Africa just chilling with a bloody drink or something because he's not fucking playing. He's never anywhere, not even on the bench, which is ridiculous. And obviously Sulemana is sort of the left wing, which I'm going to put left wing. Oh, crazy. So Walcott and Sulemana will be the left and right wing. With Sulemana, I've seen a lot of people say, he's the next Gineppo. How? Gineppo's like a Bambi on ice, brother. He can barely stand straight. Sulemana, yes, he doesn't have the finishing touch right now, the goals or assists, but what he does provide, he's in a direct, fast, attacking winger, and that's kind of what we want. That's what you want an attacker. You want an attacker who's going to take on the fullback constantly, every time he gets the ball, take him on, and that's sort of what Edozie did. And now that's why I'm sort of like, Edozie would be brilliant. Yes, maybe not start, his game's not refined enough to sort of play 90 minutes in the Prem, fine. I've got no issue with that. I probably would agree with that. But not having him on the bench when we're losing, whatever, down 2-0 or 1-0 or whatever it is, to bring on someone like that with a bit of X factor, like Edozie has X factor. He does. Like, he can beat players. He can beat two players. Yes, he doesn't have the final product, same with Sulemana, but I feel like those two are quite similar. Obviously, I believe Sulemana's a better dribbler on the ball, faster, whatnot. But I do think Edozie does have that X factor that could help us off the bench. So I would love to see Edozie on the bench, just to bring on if we need an extra attacker. But Sulemana has to start. I mean, he's electric. He's not a bloody new Gineppo. He's closer to Mane without the sort of end product at the moment, which hopefully will come. Please, we need goals. Now with the striker. Big Paul, I feel bad for him because it feels as if the way Sellers wants to play just doesn't work with Paul. I feel like he's never going to play a game. Which is shit considering we signed him for a good chunk of money for Southampton, obviously. But it kind of sucks for him as well. I feel like he was decent. He's slow, obviously, but he's like 6'7", would expect. He's not like Haaland. His finishing, we haven't really seen. I don't remember him really taking any shots, so we haven't really seen if he can shoot. I feel like his touches are good. His hold-up play was good, like against Chelsea. But I just don't think he fits the way Sellers wants to play. And that's just unfortunate, really. That kind of sucks. But at the end of the day, we're trying to win games. And if he doesn't fit the system, he doesn't fit the system. So Adams would start up front. But Adams got off for Scotland or whatever. He's injured. So we don't know. Apparently, I think I read up it was a tight calf. So he may be fine. He may be good, just a massage it a bit. But who knows? He may be out. But I would prefer to start Adams. And it's quite funny. We went into January like, we need a striker. And then 3 weeks. What was it? No, it's 2 months. 2 months out of January. Jesus, it's March. End of March already. We're just like, Adams starts. It's like, oh, shit. We haven't really progressed. But yeah, Adams has to start. And then if Adams is out, I wouldn't be surprised if we started Mara. Because I feel like Mara is similar to Adams in the way he sort of tries to get him behind and whatnot, and he can hold up the ball. But I just feel like Big Paul is just not going to be in this team ever. He's just not, which is kind of ratchet. But, it is what it is. We have to win games. So, yeah, that's my preferred lineup. Obviously, it may change depending on injuries. But that is the lineup I would definitely 100% go with. So this is the last team West Ham put out. Now, obviously, I don't watch West Ham. I don't do anything about West Ham, really. I don't follow them all. I only literally watch Southampton for the sole reason that every game's at 2, 3, 4 a.m. And I preferably don't want to be up 3 days of the week. Saturday, Sunday, or actually it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday for me. Up watching football that I don't particularly give a shit about. So I don't watch West Ham. I don't have no idea how they play. Or anything like that. I'm just looking at their previous lineup. They apparently played like a 4-1-4-1 or 4-5-1, I guess. Obviously, they have like Declan Rice, Soucek and whatnot. But just look at that front sort of four with Bowen, who was brilliant last year, has been kind of not as good this year. Danny Ings, do not fucking score against us, I swear to God. He always seems to find the net against us. Ben Rama, who obviously was blowing up the championship, 2 years ago? He was destroying it. And then he's sort of been slow, but he's always starting. He's scored. So I really don't know about West Ham, I'll be honest. I'm waffling. And then bloody Mr. Dancey Dance from Brazil, Paqueta? I think I aged that, actually. That was pretty good. So really, if you compare their front four to our front four, it's definitely better. A lot better. But yeah, so this is their team. They sort of play. I don't really know what to take from it because I don't actually know their style of play. Moyes been a bit disappointing this year. It could have been, I guess, a mix of having to play Europe as sort of a big thing. Like, you normally do see that. I think Wolves, they were in the Europa League like a few years back, and the season after, their league form really dipped, but the European form was good, right? So I feel like that's sort of what happened to West Ham this season. Whether Moyes will stay on or not, I'm actually a little bit surprised he's still there, just for the sole fact that they are potentially, obviously they probably won't get relegated in my opinion, but the threat is there. I'm surprised he's still there. So we'll see what happens with that. Now let's talk about predictions. Okay, what do we predict? As I've said earlier, I'm not confident. I'm not feeling good. Obviously with the international break, maybe we can get a bit more fluidity, a bit more structure in the team. Because obviously we don't have a ton of international. Actually, we probably do actually. It's like Scotland and shit. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Maybe, hopefully, some more structure. But really, I know I'm Mr. Negative. I know, me. But I'm just feeling like this is going to be another performance which is super like, come on, boys, come on, we have to win. And it's just going to be like, what was that? It's like similar to the Leeds game and the Brentford game. I just feel like it may not click. So I'm going to go for 2-0 West Ham. I don't know, man. I don't like being negative and predicting us to lose all the time, but it's sort of like, from what I see of the team, now obviously I watch them every single bloody week, unfortunately, and there is really, really very tiny, very small moments where we actually do well. And honestly, we're just not consistent in those. We don't consistently put out good performances, so every time we play against someone, who knows what's going to happen? Are we going to turn up? Like, remember that Manchester City game in the Cup? That's probably the best we've played all season. Happened once, and then never again. Like, that's what I'm talking about. The inconsistencies of this team is immense. So I'm going to go over 2-0 loss. Hopefully we don't lose. But yeah, that's going to be it. And if we do lose, we're going to be in massive trouble. Because this is one of the remaining 4 games that I've sort of picked out that are must-wins. And the more we don't win those games, the chance of relegation skyrockets. And in New Zealand, we don't have coverage for the championship, so I might have to delete my channel. That's not on, Southampton. You should be doing bloody better than that. But that is the video. I'll do a community post. Should be up right now. Go vote for what you think with a West Ham win, Southampton win, draw. And I'll see you for the watch along. It's at like a different time, daylight savings and shit, so I don't actually know exactly the time because our times changed the day before. So I'm not 100% sure, but it will be scheduled for the watch along, so I'll hopefully see you boys there, and hopefully we gain 3 points in London. But I appreciate boys watching this video. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.